What's going on, guys? So today's video is going to be really interesting, and it's part 2 of my review of the B&W Continuum weight distribution hitch. So in front of us you have our 2023 GMC Denali 1500. There's a half-ton truck with the LZO Duramax 3-liter engine inside of it, and this truck has a cargo capacity of 1,442 pounds. The trailering sticker says that it has a gross vehicle weight rating of 7,200 pounds, and it has a maximum conventional trailer capacity of 8,800 pounds with a maximum tongue weight of 880 pounds. Okay, so picking up where we left off last time, we installed the B&W Continuum weight distribution hitch, and you can see now that I've moved things around that there's a lot more weight on the back of the truck. Now, I want to point out real quick, the hitch install itself, if you didn't watch the first video, you definitely need to go back and watch it so you see the process of installing the hydraulic pump, the mounting brackets, the cylinder, and everything in place. It's about I'm going to say it's probably about an hour and 15-minute install if you've never done it before and you're just trying to do it for the first time. If you've done it before, you could probably knock the whole thing out in 20 to 30 minutes without a problem. Mainly because you need to read the instructions, and the instructions are very clear, but there's just a lot of instructions, and you want to be sure you do everything right. But we have everything in place. We have everything mounted the way that they recommend. We have the hitch head assembly greased up as well, and everything is ready to go to the next phase, and that is checking our heights and readjusting the suspension to accommodate for it. Now, one thing I talked about in the first video is that I had this big Blue Yeti AC200 Max power station and its expansion over there, which is also another battery pack. It basically doubles the capacity of this thing. These weigh about 100+ pounds combined. So they're very heavy, and I had them in the very back of the RV, and I've moved them up here. And I only had them in the very back so I could do some testing with them. But what's cool about these is the fact that it has a 30 amp plug on it. Was not enough to start the AC in here, but hopefully with a soft start kit it will, and we're going to do some testing with that as well. That said, I took the stuff out from here and I put it in the back, and let me show you what we have back here now. So in the back, we just have a couple of folding chairs and a folding table. I even moved the 50 amp cord into the front storage because the 50 amp cord weighs like 20 pounds by itself. So I was trying to remove the heaviest of items to the front of the trailer simply because I wanted more weight on the front than the back. And I want to be able to set my weight distribution properly, and you typically are going to want to do that loaded up with your camping amount of weight, everything you're going to bring with you in its correct location. If it's a toy hauler, then of course it's designed to cantilever some of that weight towards the back, but on traditional travel trailers you typically want most of your weight loaded forward of the axles towards the front. Okay, so what they tell you to do to set this up is, first of all, I want to take the weight off of the truck because I need to take a measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the front tongue jack, and I'm simply going to remove weight from the ball coupler here so I know that there's no serious amount of weight resting on the truck itself. I don't think I need to remove it completely. Just enough to where I see the coupler actually raising up above the ball. Okay, so there's no more weight on the truck. I can see the coupler starting to rise up, and I know that the suspension on this truck has returned back to its factory level. So let's go ahead and take a measurement. Okay, so at the front we're right at 36 inches. So let's go ahead and put the tongue weight back down and see where we're at. And what they say is I want to be anywhere between half, 50% to 90% back towards the front whenever we apply the weight. And in some cases, you can look in the owner's manual of your truck and you can see if there's a restoration point whenever you're towing a trailer. But I'm just going to go by what B&W has in their instructions, and I'm going to try to get to that 50% mark whenever we're done. So we're at 36.5. Let's go ahead and lower the weight down. We're just going to do it to the point that the tongue jack comes off the ground. And with the trailer loaded up, we are at 36 3/8 of an inch. So yeah, we want to try to get somewhere in the middle. So let's try to shoot for 36 1/4. So we're going to start pumping and see if we can restore the front down just a little bit. And this is where I want to close my valve. And then I want to start pumping. And I can actually extend my handle here if I want as well. You can see the cylinder squeezing in. Might have to go back and forth here a little bit. I'm going to start at right around 1,000 psi. Okay, so now I am at 1,000 psi. That is really cool. Let's see where it puts the front. So I am at 36 and almost a quarter. So I just need to pump it a little bit more, and that's going to put weight back on the front axle and get things leveled out. Okay, so 1,200 psi. Let's see where that puts us. There we go, right at 36 and a quarter. Exactly where we want to be. Perfect. Okay, so one way you can tell how this is working and creating that arch effect between the truck and the trailer is the space I have here now. So I only had maybe a 1/4 inch of space whenever I raised the tongue jack off of this block before I added weight distribution. Now with weight distribution, check it out. I have like an inch there. So I'm at 1,200 psi. If I want to remove that tension, instead of having big heavy spring bars, I simply lower this. You'll see how the psi's drop. Check that out. And you can see everything lowering down, including the trailer. So you can even see the tongue or the foot right there lowering down at the same time. Check that out. That is cool. I'm still at about 250 psi. And now I am almost completely down. Look, about a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to tighten this back up. And I'm just going to make it snug. I'm not going to actually tighten it. Pull the handle out. I'm going to pump this back up. Look at the space below the tongue jack itself. That is really cool. I'm already at 1,000. Let me go ahead and raise this up to 1,200 because I know that's my magic number now. And then when you're done, you can put it in this little holder right here. And then you can even dial it down just a little bit if you need to. That is really, really cool. And then this simply locks back into place whenever you're done. Check that out. Tell me that is not the coolest thing ever. Anyways, I think it's time for us to take this on a test drive. Now, I still don't fully understand the concept behind sway control, unless sway control deals more with weight distribution. Like if you see some of those cool little demonstrations where they take a little truck on a treadmill, they have a trailer and they move weight from the front to the back, the trailer starts to sway, then they move it back to the front and it removes the sway. That could be how this works in essence, because it just fights sway through weight distribution or proper weight distribution. There could be some friction taking place in here because as you tighten this, there's going to be a lot of pressure that builds up in that area. But again, I greased that area because it has 2 grease zerks on it. So when it comes to weight distribution, I can totally see this working, and it is so easy to see right off the bat. When it comes to sway control, that's the one that I don't fully understand unless, again, they're just basing sway control on the reduction in sway that you get by properly managing weight distribution. That's my theory, at least. Anyways, super excited to take this rig out. Let's see how it works. I'm really, really interested in feeling how this is going to tow. Now, I did not tow the trailer without a weight distribution hitch. So this is the first time actually towing this trailer, period, with this truck. So I don't have like a before and after because I just don't want to subject myself to a possibly dangerous situation just to say, oh wow, look how less dangerous it is now. Basically, I always believe if you're going to haul a trailer that's near the capacity of your vehicle, and that is certainly, you know, a large profile, tall, wide, long travel trailer, you're going to want to use weight distribution. Unless you're hauling something like this behind like a dually or a very heavy truck that just has the weight, the length, and the power to overcome it. And of course, you have your trailer balanced out properly, putting weight where it needs to go versus putting weight in an area that can cause a reduction of tongue weight and possibly instability and sway issues. Anyways, we're going to hit the road. We're going to see how this tows. Anyways, we're going to take off. We're going to go on a drive. We're going to get on the highway, and we're just going to see how well this thing tows with this this B&W hitch. It's not super windy today. We probably have 10-mile-an-hour winds, but we've been getting some gusts, so it'll be interesting to tell. We're going to get on the highway. We're going to check it out. I've already dialed in my trailer brakes, so I'm in good position there, and I think we'll be in good shape. So let's hit the road and see what this is all about. That is a really nice camera angle when towing, if you want to take a look at the hitch and what's going on. This is also a really cool camera angle. This is that hitch down look. Check that out. You can see very clearly what's going on with the hitch assembly. That is really cool. Wow, that's even better. So I have a really, really good view of my hitch. Again, this isn't a view that I get on my F450. Maybe the newer ones. I don't know. If you have a newer Super Duty or F150 with all your cameras, can you access them while you're driving? Or do they shut off after like 5 or 10 miles an hour? Okay, so I'm hoping my camera doesn't overheat because the sun is just blasting on it. That said, we are now on the causeway. We are heading out to North Padre Island, and I'm going 55 miles an hour. And so far, everything's good. I'm actually increasing. The speed limit here is 65, and I usually don't tow beyond 65 miles an hour, so just about to hit 60. So I'm at 60 now, and there's always wind on the beach. So it will be kind of interesting to see how the truck and trailer respond to wind. Now, interestingly enough, you know, when you tow with an F450, things always feel kind of confident. You don't feel real crazy. Even towing, you know, the 43-foot long fifth wheel we have, still feels pretty dang confident. Whenever you tow with a half-ton truck, whatever size trailer it is, I'm not going to say it doesn't feel confident, because it does. And I know a lot of half-ton owners are going to get up in arms when I say this, but it feels less so, if that makes sense. And this just kind of goes to that whole story that people often tell me that move from a half-ton truck or a lighter duty vehicle to a 3/4 ton up truck, and they say, I was fine towing with my half-ton, but boy, what a world of difference moving to a heavier truck or a heavier duty truck. And I can probably agree. So here's my recount of this. So if I didn't have my 450 and I had only ever towed with this truck hauling this size of trailer, I would probably think this is perfectly fine. I feel comfortable, not white knuckling it. We're getting a couple little gusts in, and you feel it a little bit. You can definitely feel the trailer behind you. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I don't really care what half-ton truck you have. They're still light trucks. They're not terribly heavy. And because they're lighter trucks, they respond more to what the trailer's doing. The trailer is going to dictate more of the feel you feel in the truck. And you can definitely tell. Does it feel bad? No. Would I want to haul a trailer much heavier than this or larger than this with a half-ton truck? No, I wouldn't. Only because the feeling that I have and the feeling that I'm describing would be even more so. That not only am I hauling a trailer, that the bumps that the trailer's going over, that the weight that it's applying to the back hitch is definitely prevalent. But having a weight distribution system like this B&W Continuum really helps mitigate the feel of stress. I don't feel stressed out. I'm not white knuckling it. I don't feel like I'm going to panic. I feel as if the truck is adequately handling the trailer and the hitch is contributing to that in a big way. You know, right now I think I have between 1,500 and maybe 1,700 PSI applied. I've definitely removed some weight from the hitch area and applied it to the front of the truck and even the back of the trailer, if that makes sense. It's a comfortable towing experience. I could tow long distances like this, and you can see the trees now. They're definitely blowing more. We probably have more of a 15 to 20 mile an hour crosswind at the moment, but it's towing just fine. You know, if I had my family in the vehicle, I wouldn't be stressed out. If I was in much heavier winds, and here's kind of a red light I'm going to stop at, just so you kind of know, and the trailer brakes are dialed in fine. The trailer does feel like it's pushing on the truck a little bit, which is very common. I mean, even hauling a fifth wheel behind my big truck, you feel that as well. When you go over bumps and expansion joints, you also feel it. You feel that teeter-totter effect of the trailer pressing down on the hitch area and the softer springs of the half-ton responding to that. So that's also something to keep in mind. From a towing capability, this truck has absolutely no problem physically towing the trailer. That's not a problem at all. So again, a lot of folks get up in arms saying, I can tow anything. Well, you probably can tow just about anything. Toyota proved that towing, you know, the space shuttle. The fact is that half-ton trucks can tow a lot of weight, but they still have softer, more compliant, comfortable springs on the back. and they're designed that way to give you a more compliant, comfortable ride versus 3/4 ton up trucks. I mean, just drive the two trucks and you will instantly be able to tell that and feel that. I really am pleased with how the B&W is handling this trailer. Now, would I have encountered a lot of sway had I not had the B&W there? I'm not sure, because I don't really still understand the sway counteracting measures of this hitch. I don't know what it's doing to reduce sway other than just being a really good weight distribution setup. And weight distribution has a lot to do with mitigating sway. So that could be it. I mean, if there is sway control characteristics built into this, I'd love to know from the folks over at B&W, but I believe last time I talked to them, they even told me that it's not specifically designed for sway, but it does help a lot with sway. But again, I'd love to know from the B&W folks, and I'm sure they'll be willing to chime in to give a clearer answer of what properties this hitch has to reduce sway other than being an outstanding weight distribution hitch in general. Again, it's working really well. I mean, I'm not encountering any sway. You know, I got up to 63 miles an hour when I was towing. Again, that's, you know, about at the limit at which I like to tow trailers, especially with a half-ton truck. You know, this trailer fully loaded is beyond what I generally recommend from a towing perspective for a half-ton truck. But at where I have it now, it's probably right around 6,000 pounds. And maybe a hair over, but I'm going to probably surmise it's closer to 6,000 pounds, which is what I usually consider to be the maximum I like to see behind a half-ton truck, all the way up to maybe 6,500 pounds if you have a truck that's more capable, a truck that has 1,800 pounds worth of cargo capacity, a truck that has a max tow package, which this truck does not. But this truck does have a tow package, does have the trailer brake controller, all of that built into it. It's just not the maximum towing equipped version of a half-ton truck, and I believe you can't get it in a Denali because of the suspension that GMC puts specifically on the Denalis. I drop down to 35 miles an hour here. But yeah, overall, really good towing experience. Don't have any complaints whatsoever. The hitch is doing a fantastic job of weight distribution. Super easy to set up. Again, a question that I do need to ask them is, how do you set it up if you're not going to be towing with the same vehicle every time? You know, if I use a different tow vehicle, if I tow it behind my F450, what do I do? And real quick, something I like to show here is how it turns your mirror on to the corresponding side that you're actually turning. But so far, super impressed. But yeah, I'm going to reach out to the folks from B&W. I want to find out again what you need to take off or remove if you're going to haul a trailer with a different truck. Because if you're not using the weight distribution setup, or you don't need it, like on my F450, what parts do I need to remove to allow me to do that? I'm assuming I would just need to remove the spring bar assembly with the pin that's in place. And I love the fact that a lot of the components are pinned in place and not bolted in place. So if I have to remove something, it's going to be pretty easy to do so. But I can honestly tell you, I do recommend the product. This hasn't been an incredibly long trip, but we've gotten a few little gusts. I'm not feeling any strange characteristics. It doesn't feel like it's an excessive amount of weight on the back of the truck. It was really easy to install. It was really easy to set up. I didn't have to deal with really bolting any hitch head components in place to make adjustments, which I really like. Just the fact that all the main components that you're going to need to adjust are pinned in place versus bolted in place, and that really is nice. Plus, how robust the assembly is in general. It's a very well designed, well engineered, and well built assembly. It's just kind of a testament to what B&W does, because it's been a long time coming. They've been working on this thing for a long time, and they've really thought out the design. You almost had to kind of wonder what was the next best weight distribution setup that you could get, and honestly, this is it. This is kind of groundbreaking in terms of what it's capable of doing and how it's able to perform. But I'm gonna head back. I just wanted to take it over the bridge. That was my real goal here, to see how it would feel going up and over the bridge, getting a little bit of crosswind, which we got some of. And like I said, not a stressful towing experience at all. I'm very pleased with it. We have a trailer that weighs roughly 6,000 pounds behind us, We probably have roughly 600 pounds, maybe 650, probably closer to 650 to 700 now that I've moved the battery setup and all that stuff to the front of the trailer, and I've kind of positioned where things are. I definitely saw the back of the truck squat a little bit more when I added that weight to the trailer. So I think it's a pretty good demonstration of what this thing's capable of. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put a link in the description. My channel sponsors, etrailer.com, provided this to me. It's been a while since I first debuted the Continuum hitch, and there's been other folks who have done reviews on them. There's been other folks who have done some really, really good installation videos, like Wandering Weekends. That was a really, really great in-depth setup that they did whenever they installed this on a vehicle. And overall, it's performing really well. I gotta say, it's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, weight distribution setup that you can buy. You know, it's going to be interesting again to find out the sway characteristics of it, or the anti-sway characteristics of it, but hopefully I'll be able to have that conversation with the folks from B&W. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.